Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. So today we're going to discuss about Salesforce Marketing Cloud, end-to-end customer journey implementation in SFMC, right? So we are going to look at a real project walkthrough. We are going to have a session from how a business use case is constructed, what is the data architecture, what is the data looks like, what is an architecture of the SFMC setup, and how we can implement multiple use cases for the businesses, right? So having said that, I will be presenting certain matrices based out of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So I'll be showing you guys an actual projects that I've worked on, and what it means to use SFMC in today's world, right? So what pitfalls we will be seeing in SFMC, that also will be discussed so that you have an holistic view of the platform and how better you can use it. And I hope that this session will have a lot of learning for you. And let's get into it, right? So before we get into technicality, I just want to briefly introduce myself. I'm Pavan. I'm a marketing technology specialist. I have over 10 years of experience working exclusively in Salesforce uh, tech across various clouds that we have. So predominantly, I've been working on Marketing Cloud. As I hope you're aware of other clouds in Salesforce, such as uh, Sales Cloud, Data Cloud, Service Cloud, Commerce Cloud, etc., etc. So in that sense, I have also experience in working on portfolios such as insurance, healthcare, retail, and prior to this, if you know, we have a contemporary product in the system, that is Adobe. So I also have projects working on Adobe Campaign as well. So that makes a different view of how this technology or whatever we are learning as a concepts could be put in various tools as well. So end-to-end campaign management is one of my expertise in and designing a customer journey for the businesses. So for any project, you must be aware that data architecture is very important, right? How we hold our data, what sense can we make out of data is the most important thing. What is AMP script, SQL queries, API integration? So this has been our day-to-day thing for last 10 years. And I currently work as a technical lead in an MNC. So this is about me. Now, how is our next 75 minutes going to be, right? So what are we going to understand with respect to, say, end-to-end business implementation, right? So first we try and understand what is a use case, right? When we say business use case, what exactly does it mean, right? From a layman term on how we should understand it, and from a business point of view. When a client say that, hey, you know what, I have a business use case, what can we do it with it, or how can we achieve this, right? So we will understand, we will dig in deep as to how to use the word use case, how to come up with our own use cases, understanding the client's requirements, right? Second, we are going to deal about data and architecture setup. Now, what exactly is data, what it means, and what is the architecture setup? Does having a Salesforce Marketing Cloud will suffice us to give an end-to-end solution, or is there something more that we need to consider in this process? Right. Third is the designing the customer journey. Now, all of these, right? Step one, step two, say step three, is all because of a customer, right? There is an end user of a product or a service, and we are just trying to make his journey through the client much more meaningful, right? Both for the customer as well as for the business. So we will focus on how to design a well-driven customer journey. Next, we will step into campaign building and automation. Now, this gets technical here at step 4, where we will try and understand the Salesforce in real terms, right? We are going to talk about what is a campaign, how to construct one, and what is an automation. Now, automation could be used in multiple contexts, but with respect to CRM, what exactly is an automation, right? So those are the things that we will deal here in execution part. And then we will come up with optimization and real project insights. We will make sure that the previous topics that we've discussed, how are we going to make sense out of it finally at the end of the day with respect to optimizing the project and getting some real world insights into consideration, right? And then finally, I'll open up the floor for question and answers from you. And hopefully we will have a productive discussion. And in between, please don't wait till the end of session to ask questions, because if you say for a certain section you have a question, feel free to pop up. And the moderator here, we have Manish, who will uh, give us the questions and we can address them then and there, right? So yes, with this said, with who I am and why we are all here, let's kickstart the session. So understanding the business use case. Now, tell me, how many of you have an understanding or currently know what is a Salesforce, or what exactly is a use case? Do you have an understanding of this? Right? I just want, because it will be a very interactive session, I want this to for you to open up about how much you know. You can express yourself. I'm also here to learn along with you guys. So uh, keep the chat section alive and post your thoughts and questions about it, and we will look into it. So when we say business use case, so what do you think uh, is a one word or a one sentence which defines it? Right. So business is somebody who is having a product or a service, right? Or any company or any client, right? And they are trying to make their business better, right? They're trying to make a sell. They're trying to sell a product or a service. So now what exactly is a use case? Use case is that method, or use case is that problem that a business is looking into, so that if you solve that problem, or if you give them an opportunity to explore that particular problem, they will be able to make a better sales, they'll be able to make better business, right? Now you combine both of these things. Now Pavan is, let's assume Pavan is running a company, right? Now Pavan is running a certain company, a retail company or a hospitality company, and he wants more and more customers to come in. Now that is his use case, right? The use case could be driven in such a way that helps him get his goal. Now today in this session, what we are trying to do is, I'm going to give my own experience working in an e-commerce retail company which had about 500K customers, right? Now this is a very elaborate, that's why we took it as an example to demonstrate here, because you get a lot of ideas when we say retail companies, a lot of use cases, right? Now this particular client, this particular business that we had in the beginning had a lot of challenges per se in his business. One was low engagement. Now what do you mean by low engagement? Whatever customers he had, right, about 500K, we noticed that the engagement between the customer and the business was very low. There was no open communication channels, right? Meaning, as a business, they were trying to engage with their customers, but the open rate was less than 12%. Now, what happens in such a case? Now, what is the standard for what is a good engagement rate? So currently in the market, anything between 20 to 24%, right, is considered as a good engagement, a good open rate. But in this case, the customers had about 12%. Second point that they had was high unsubscriptions, meaning we want to send a marketing email. Hey, there is this new product launch, there is an offer going on, whatever. But because of lack of digital marketing practices or the right email or a right communication to the right customer at the right time. So this is the mantra, or this is a line that we use in CRM across multiple portfolios, be it hospitality, be it insurance, retail, banking, anything. You always want to send the right communication to the right customer at the right time. If Pavan, if you identify Pavan as a right customer, and if you try and send, let's say you are the developer, you are a Salesforce developer, and you are working on a use case, and now you want Pavan to increase his he has bought a product, what, he's a customer and you're trying to send. What if, let's assume, you're sending that email at a midnight to the customer. Now, okay, you are sending the right communication to the right customer, but it is at a wrong time, right? What if he might miss that email? you know there's so many parameters that we could construct around this piece as to why this might happen, right? So eventually, if I get an email, say over a period of 2-3 instances, the customer would lose faith in that email process and say he'll unsubscribe. And that is exactly what was happening here for us in this particular retail business, right? Why? And also, one of the parameters for high unsubscriptions is no personalization, meaning the email or an SMS that we are going to send doesn't have a salutation, right? Doesn't have a personalization. Hi, Pavan. Instead of, let's say, hi, Pavan, if you just say hi, it means you are already an anonymous person. You don't know your customers, right? Or your data that you have is not nurtured enough, or it is not seasoned enough for you to say that, okay, this is his first name. Let me greet him by his name. So, and also what happens is you get a tendency, I think we all have experienced this in some time or the other, right? When you see hi, and then here is an offer for 10% if you make the purchase in next 2 to 3 business days, something of this sort, right? You immediately think that, hey, I am one among many. Why should I believe this email? Why should I click on anything, right? Why should I make this purchase? There's no personalization. There is no belonging of the customer to the business. So that stitching, that relationship building will always happen when you have better personalization, right? So that was another challenge that we identified. Third is the cart abandonment. Now, this is a classical use case of a retail company. What happens? We all like shopping. We all like exploring. So we all put items that we want to buy later and put it in a cart, right? Now, what happens? And then we, for some reasons better known, what we do is we let them be. Okay, once I'll buy it next week, I'll probably buy it next month, whatever. But most often than not, those carts go left unattended, right? Either from the customer side or from the business side. But don't you think it is a better approach, or it is a proactive approach from the business to say that, hey, hi, Pavan, I see that you have four products in the cart and there's a better deal going on. Would you try to make a purchase now? You try and give that little nudge, a little push to your customers, a little reminder now and then, and say that this is what is happening. And the cart needs to be attended to. And in this particular retail section, what we've thought was about 68% of the cart was left without a follow-up. Right. So that was another challenge that was identified. The third, and I believe the most important one of all these, because these are all, the three ones are an after effect of your technical implementation. But even before you kickstart and say that, hey, you know what, I have built a journey, data is always and always a master in how your business is driven, right? So in this case, the CRM, let's assume there are multiple sources, right? How a business collects a data. There is a use case, there is a way the data flows in, there are multiple sections. It can be from website, it can be from store, it can be from social media and whatnot. Now, if that data and the actual data purchase, like the product purchase, if it is not connected, right? If Pawan made a purchase and in the database that purchase has not been updated for whatever reasons, right? There is no data unification happening. There is no data segmentation done properly, right? So how you nurture your data inside the system is most important, right? That solves half of your problems in the implementation. So now we should make sure that these challenges were addressed and these challenges are mitigated, and we build a very personalized, automated, multi-channel journey. Now, what does this mean? We understand what is personalization. We understand a journey in SFMC. Now, multi-channel, automated multi-channel. Let's discuss this word. Automated multi-channel means that the word itself says multi-channel, right? So now we live in a world where we have a lot of channels. Now, what are the classical channels? Classical channels used to be a billboard, right? Which is a mass marketing technique. You would be driving from a place A to B, and you see there's a lot of hoarding saying that, hey, new product launch, initial offer 15%. Or so this is appealing. It is just shouting out loud about the product, about the company, and it is for everybody. There is no age segregation, there is no segmentation. It is for male, female, earning capture capacity, nothing. People who see the billboard, it is for them. And then you have your television ads, right, that runs. So these were classical, and now slowly what happened, we moved to a more content driven, in a sense. Emails happened, right? We started, that is still relevant even till today, with even though being mobile being a primary device for most of the people, email still is the primary digital marketing channel. I'll come to that point as to why email is the important one, yet, right? So then you have email as a channel, then you have SMS as a channel. You might have received so many marketing SMSs throughout your day. So, and you have push notification. So every single business have their own application, and every single business promote or encourage you to install that application. Is it not? Say company XYZ, they are good at by selling shoes, and you like their product. The first thing they ask is, sir, can you please install this application? You get more offers and discounts. And once you do that, and they always say, turn on your notifications. Why? Because they want to constantly reach you, right? So these are multiple channels that are there in the CRM. Now, if you are able to automate these channels using SFMC, we will be able to address the challenges that we identified. So we will be able to reduce cart abandonment by certain percent. Now here, let me, there is a reason why I put 50%, 2x, because any time when you say you're establishing a goal, I'm taking a little detour from the agenda here because this is very important when we talk about business use case. Because you can ask me this question, Pavan, when can you say that a business use case was executed well? Now, the answer to that question is when the use case has been attended such that a measurable improvement has been done to the challenge that was identified. Right? Now, what is measurable? Something that you know for a fact, that not just assigning number to it, right? Okay, there is this 50%, 30% reduction. No. Okay, 68% of the carts were left without follow-up, right? Now, if we are able to bring it down even by 50%, right, as an initial improvement, that itself is a progress. And I'm saying that there is an open rate of less than 12%. And if I'm able to make it 20%, 24%, if I'm able to make it grow 2x, now these are measurable quantities. These are the metrics that we need so that we as a service provider, we as a developer can go and talk to business saying that, hey, you know what, before SFMC or before your digital marketing setup, this was your case. And now with all this efficient mode of communication, the efficient mode of marketing, we have increased we have increased the customer interaction, right? So this is very important. Always and always make sure that you have measurable goals. Now, and also lastly, grow customer retention, right? What is customer retention? We don't want customers to say that, oh, I made a purchase and they uninstall the app and then they go away, right? For a business to run efficiently throughout the season, year after year, we need customers to retain and be loyal to our company, to our business, right? You bought a phone from us, you buy an earphone from us. If you buy an earphone from us, buy an iPad from us. So you, for some, in some shape or form, you want that particular customer to be with us in certain aspects. So we send you a festival greeting and we say that there is an offer. We send you your birthday wish. We send you a welcome email, right? So what does this mean? It not necessarily all the emails that we send out should mean that there is a purchase to be done. Please be aware of this, right? Because sometimes it also, it feels nice to just say hi. Hi, Pavan. Happy so and so, right? Happy festivals. Hope you have a nice time. So you see that the customer and the business are always communicating to each other, or at least in this case, the business is constantly talking to their customers, right? So now this is a understanding of business use case, right? Now these are the challenges. Now these could be an individual use case. What is a use case? Increase your open rate by so and so percent. Have an abandoned cart use case. Work on data segmentation, deduplication, right? There are multiple duplicate records that will come across. So how are we going to do with it? So all of this makes this piece. Any questions? Yes. Sorry, I have a single screen, but okay. I see no questions on the chat. I take it as a positive set so far. And also, if you feel like, maybe because it could be an afterthought, you would be thinking about it, and what we are speaking right now comes to you later, and then you could always please feel free to, because it's put it in the chat and mention the slide or a business your question, right? And we can always come back. Now, moving along, data and architecture setup. Now, I cannot emphasize more on the word data. Data has been around with us for the time that we can think of, right? So before you build your first email to send out, you build your first journey, or in fact, even before you start working on Marketing Cloud, right? You want to understand your data. I always have this conversation, very comprehensive conversation, in fact, with my clients, with my team, saying that, do you understand your data? Who are these people? You say 500K records. Who are they? What are they doing? Where are they from? What is the average age group? Right? How often do they make a purchase? So these are insights of your data. Now you need to understand them. Then how good is your data is a question. Does a particular record have two email addresses? Very much possible, right? Now, in that case, will we target both the email addresses? But if you target both the email addresses, that same customer is receiving the same email in two different inboxes, right? Then comes another question. Oh, what if he has two email addresses? Which one is he responding to? Now comes the point of primary set and secondary set. Okay, should I send an email or an SMS? Where does he respond better? So all of these questions, right? There, that is why we have something called as a these are concepts in data, right? One is the most important is deduplication, of course. We don't want duplicate records. I don't have Pavan being 3 times in my table. That's just redundant, right? That's just a load on your servers. Why would you want to do that? Next, we want to have data massaging. What is data massaging? I want to keep my data up and alive, meaning I should have the most relevant information about my customer. Pavan used a certain email address 5 years ago, and he might have changed it. Do I have the updated email address? How can you say that? So all these questions start arising with respect to data. The more time you spend on data, the more control you have over your architecture, is my personal opinion. Right? You ask any questions with respect to data about yourself. You just keep asking, okay, why is that? What is the common demography of this? Where do these people reside? Every single thing, every single insight. Okay. Now, if you are seeing the screen, I have 3 layers here, right? Now, the top layer, let me call this as the sources of data. Okay. Salesforce CRM, right? So we have a portal, they let's assume business has their own system. They make a purchase, enter into their CRM portal. We say that, okay, purchase has happened, etc., etc. So CRM could be one of our sources. Website event, right? So Pavan being a customer goes to a website, this particular retail website, and he's exploring products, right? So that is another source. And we have cookies, we understand who is from and all of that. And also third can be a purchase history, right? So purchase history previously, say previous month, Pavan made a purchase. So he's there in our system, and it is also one of those sources. Now, loyalty program, this is very important. Loyalty program is how often or how loyal is the customer to my company, and how well have I been communicating with him so far, right? So loyalty program, loyalty points, how to give loyalty points, earn points. They always say, all these applications, right, businesses, they always want to drive you through points. Make a purchase, earn 100 points, and you collect 3000 points, we'll give you some free voucher. It's a common state line in this marketing set, right? Now you see the first layer, all this data will flow into Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Okay. Now immediately there would be a question in your mind saying that, Pawan, how will the data flow? Right? How will you describe or how will you control this data? Can it happen real time, or it needs to wait for a day, or it needs to wait for a week? How are you going to do it? So we will address that question. Just hold that thought, because it comes in the technical aspects, right? So let's assume all these data from these 4 sources flow into the Marketing Cloud platform. Now, Marketing Cloud platform, now the data is sitting here in the middle layer. Now, from there, if you drill down, you have various other features, right? These are features of Marketing Cloud. Contact Builder, Data Extension, Journey Builder, Email Studio, Automation Studio, Mobile Connect, Reports, right? And so on and so forth. Marketing Cloud is a very elaborate platform. Now, I have picked up the most common for you to establish a use case and for you to develop your own first journey, a customer journey in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. What are the basic things that you need? That is what I have put up here, right? So what is contact builder? I will talk about each of these individually now so that you're able to understand and visualize what they do, right? Because they're very important. Each one have their own definition, have their own functionality, and there is a certain way of how you need to use it. Okay, sit back, hear about this, and let me know if this makes sense. Okay, contact builder. Now, two things there are, right? Contact builder. Contact is nothing but your customer. Who are you contacting to? You are contacting to a customer, right? Now, who is a customer? Customer is a data, right? So now contact builder is nothing but your repository, your own Salesforce Marketing Cloud repository of the data, where you accumulate these data and store them in this particular builder, right? I'm trying to make the definition as simple as possible so that you are able to visualize and say that how to approach this builder or how to approach this feature. And once you approach it, you know what to do, right? Once you crack the definition, you will understand how to make it a better, or how to get the best out of it. Now, the next set is data extension. Now, immediately you will shoot a question to me, Pawan, if what is the difference between a contact builder and a data extension? Because you said contact is data and you also have data extension. Why do we have two? Then I'll say good question. And then I'll also have to say that contact builder is only a data repository. It is sitting there. Now, how good are you going to segment or segregate or make sense of that data depends on how well you do your data extension. Now, at this point, you will ask me another question. What is a data extension? Data extension is nothing but a table, right? In any form, in any data management setup, MDMs, tables are always there, right? You have a profile table, you have product table, you have sales table, you have purchase table, whatnot. Now, in Salesforce Marketing Cloud language, data extension is a table. Now, contact builder, look at it as an umbrella concept. You are storing the data in contact builder, right? But you later on build tables. For a lack of a initial setup, I'm using the word table so that you understand. And from later on, I will use data extension. Okay. You store all your data in contact builder, and then you start creating individual tables to make more sense out of that data. Between age group of say 24 to 35, there is a table, or people who reside in certain uh, demography, certain geography, right, is put in a table. So these tables, which are actually data extensions, will clearly tell you, okay, this is my data. This is the range that I have in my data. Okay. Now data is sorted. You have taken all the data that you have from the sources. You have beautifully segmented it. You have deduplicated it, etc. Now, a journey builder. If you notice, I think in the slide number 3, we were talking about creating or enhancing a customer journey, right? Where I was talking about how you should always make sure that you have a meaningful, progressive journey of a customer, right? Now, journey builder is the place where you play around that. How do you want that customer to move along? Now, I'll give you a scenario, okay? I think that will help you out in understanding the journey builder. Let's assume Pawan is a new customer, right? A brand new customer to the business. You have captured your data. Let's assume he was in a website event, right? There was in some event and then he signed up and you have his data. Good. Now, immediately You can send him a welcome email. Hi Pavan, thanks for attending. Welcome to ABC Retail Company. Right? Pavan has not made a purchase yet. Please be aware. He just signed up. How many times have you signed up onto a website and immediately received an email saying that thanks for registering, thanks for signing up? Why do we do it? We acknowledge the fact that you have entered the system, and we also appreciate the fact that you chose to register with us. That's a greeting email, right? So Journey Builder will do that. So you sent a welcome email to Pawan, well and good. Now immediately what you do, because now that you know he is in your system, say after a week or so, you send another email saying, hi Pawan, as a new registrant, as a new customer, we would like to offer 10% discounts on your next purchase. Here is your coupon code. Okay. You do that, you're a very proactive business, and fantastic. Now Pawan doesn't respond to that email. He doesn't open it. He doesn't check, right? Because for whatever reasons. Now what do? You wait for another 3 days and you send a reminder email. Hey Pawan, the offer is still live. If you want, you can grab it for it. Make a purchase in next 48 hours to avail 10% discount. Right now he opens this email. Pawan opens this third email and wants to get the off coupon meet. Now, what happens? Let's say Pawan goes to the product website. It puts up 2-3 items on the cart, but doesn't make a purchase. Now, abandoned cart comes into play. You're going to send another email. Hey Pawan, we're so happy that you were able to choose these 3 products and they're lying in your cart. Make a purchase or take the next action. What is stopping you from taking the next action? Right? Now you see, as I'm describing the journey of Pawan, as I'm describing the way business is treating every action that Pawan is taking, this is a journey in itself, is it not? It is Pawan as a customer is going through his own journey, a journey of purchase, of no purchase, action, no action, open, no open, all of that. Now you as a business will have the power to control it. When I say this, it means that you can send what you want to send to Pawan and when you want to send it. Right now, this control, this level of detailing can be done in Journey Builder. Okay. The reason I spent a lot of time on the Journey Builder is because that is what makes sense finally for you as marketeers when you are developing your campaigns. Right. So I hope Journey Builder is sorted. Now let's go to Email Studio. Now, as I told you, email is still one of the most important channels to send out emails or send out any channels. So, okay, before I talk about Email Studio, I want to talk about I'm hoping there would be a question in your point. Pawan, even though mobile is a primary device, and even though there are applications, and we know SMS is more convenient, more smaller, because we all don't read emails, right? We read a subject line. If it is too fancy, any email from bank we read, I hope. So with this case, Pawan, why are we not moving away from email? Why are we still sending emails? Two things. SMS links, SMS sending an email is much cheaper in terms of its configuration, in terms of its setup, in terms of its operational value than sending a push notification or an SMS. Also, even though I just said that we don't open emails, we don't respond to certain things and all, if you send the right email still now, because that is what the metrics shows, not only in retail sector but across multiple sectors, that the most return on investment and the most number of actions taken is always and always on an email than any other channel. People out there, the customers like you and me and all of us, we believe that even the right email comes out, we still do open, we still do take a look at important things if done promptly, and then we make a set. So even that is why even now in industry, email is the most used channel. Now, what are the things that you need to send this email? So that things are available, those features are available in this particular studio, right? Now you can ask me this question now, Pawan, why is there a word builder for contact and journey, but it says studio here, right? Why is it not email builder? Right? That could be a question. Very as silly as it may sound, but it is still a very valid question. Yes, you can build a journey. I can also build an email. Why there is no word studio used? Now, to address that, to answer that, the emails predominantly, even though you are constructing, you're configuring, you're developing, you're building the email per se, there are a lot of other configurations that needs to be done. What do you do in a studio? You know, when you enter a say furniture studio or any other studio, right? What do? You pick and choose things, right? It is a very abstract place. So the same thing happens here. Just having an HTML for the email is not sufficient. Guys, please be aware of this. Not having the most colorful and fanciest of emails will not suffice. You should have a proper sending address. You should have a proper you should have a proper from address. You should have your domain IP reputed. You should have a proper subject line, right? You should make sure that the email doesn't go to spam folder or junk folder. You should make sure to include an unsubscription set email link. So there are so many other internal parameters that define what is a good email. Now, in order to do this, in order to construct and configure this, Studio is used. It is a much lighter, much trendier, or much feel good sort of a word than an email builder, email studio. Okay. You see, these are very important points. We quite often tend to miss these, right? Because what makes, you know, you can think next time when you're opening an email, right? Say any marketing email. Why did I open this email when I did not open the previous 3 emails, right? Let's assume you have got 4 different emails, right? From 4 different vendors or 4 different businesses. There would be something about this email that made you open it. And you think, I'm just giving you an assignment right now. You think, was this the subject line that made me open this email? Or was it that emoji that they put? Or was it the body of the email? Or was it the way that they have placed this click button? So many parameters. You will try and understand. You put yourself in the shoes of a customer and start thinking. I think once you do that, you will become a very good developer. Because then you'll be able to understand what the customer feels and what he goes through. Now, I hope email studio, yes, good. Now we have data sorted, fantastic. We know how to, why the journey builder is used, great. We know the email is in our hands. Okay, everything we need is done. Now the last piece is, do we want to do this every day? Right? Do we want to do the data set, get the data from sources, table creation, journey building the journey, creating that email? No, right? We want to do it once and we want to automate it. Yes, send these emails every day or maybe every weekday at 10:30 a.m. to these customers, right? Now, when that happens, we want to automate the process. Most important, because you will not only have one use case, you will have multiple use cases to attend to. How are you going to deal with it? Right? So with all these sections, how will you going to automate it? Now, if you notice in my explanation of Automation Studio, I said these. I used a word these. How are we going to send emails to these customers? Right? That's what I said. That it means, how do you know for a fact that these customers? So there is a segment. I'll tell you how the Automation Studio works now. Journey Builder will, let's say Journey Builder, you have a journey ABC and you have a data extension ABC, right? Now in this section, you will be able to say that send email to people over 24 and below 40, an age group of 24 to 40, who reside in cities as Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, right? And who have cart items more than 3. You will only send this email if these 3 conditions are satisfied. Be very careful. So now what you do is, in Automation Studio, there are SQL queries. Now, if you focus your attention to the bottom of the slide, I'm talking about the SQL queries here, the midpoint. So if you will have, because you need to be very strong, of course, come on, we have data in our hand. How will you treat data? We will treat data using SQL queries, right? Now, in Automation Studio, for segmentation, for filtering, for anything else, SQL queries are our go-to things, right? So once that has happened, you will have control over your data. So you can automate it, you can schedule it. As I said earlier, send this email at 10:30 a.m. to these customers. So this is sorted. These customers are sorted, right? Because you have already built an SQL query. Takes first name, last name, etc., etc., etc. from table so and so, where age group is greater than 24 and less than 40, and city in Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, and abandoned cart products is greater than 3. Done. Your SQL query is done. You put this SQL query in the automation and you schedule it for set, and you tag. What do you tag? You tag your journey, you tag your email, and you tag your data extension, because obviously you would have stored certain data in your data extension. Is it not? Now, personalization, I'll really go through it, because I spent good time on this, is because I want you guys to understand the data and architecture first. Because once you crack this, in your head, everything else becomes a cakewalk, right? You can navigate the rest of the things very easily, because you now know the foundational fundamental aspect of why are we doing this, and how does all of this fit into our work, right? Now, technical touch points would be AMP script for a dynamic personalization, right? As I was talking about it, if there is no personalization, then there is no feeling of belonging, right? There is no belonging. There is no one-to-one relation between the customer as well as the business. Then, for this, Salesforce Marketing Cloud has its own personalization script, which is called the AMP script. Okay, we will be able to work on it. It's much easier, to work on. You can personalize literally everything, right? You can say that, hi Pavan, here is happy birthday. Let's say today's my birthday, right? Happy birthday. And since you have his date of birth stored in your data extension, you can say that you are turning, say, 28. Now 28 could be personalized value, and the same email, let's say it is being sent to another person, say David. Hi, David. And his birthday was, say, last week, right? And we know you're turning 45. Now, this Pavan, the word first name, Pavan and David, was personalized. The age, 28 and 45, is personalized, right? So there could be multiple points in your email where you could have it personalized. And it makes that, hey, this company cares, this company knows about me, this company understands, and then, you know, it is a relationship that gets developed when you say personalized. And then APIs. So if you notice the start of this slide, I started saying that how does this data come into Salesforce Marketing Cloud? Okay, I'll briefly touch on this point. There are two ways you can get this data from. One is good old method, which is there is a dump of data for that particular day, right? There is a data management system that collects all of these data, and then every night we have scheduled SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, right? We have our own repositories. These we will request these source teams to place a data file in that particular repository, and we will collect it every night. So this is called nightly job, nightly data refresh. That is more manual, and it happens the data shift refresh is at 24 hours delay. Now, if you see there is a REST API, these are APIs, right? We know what is application programmable interface. There are two kinds of APIs, SOAP and REST, right? So in the REST APIs, what we do is these are real-time events. Now, what do you mean by real-time triggered sends, right? Immediately you make a purchase, you receive an email, right? Your order number is so and so. This will be delivered in next 2 working days. Immediately you make the purchase, payment happened, and by the time you blink your eye, you receive an email. How fast does the system know that you made a purchase? How is it all connected? So that is because of the APIs. This is the beauty of APIs. Correct? Okay. Now, any questions, guys? Anything that you think needs better? You have trouble understanding? Please shoot. I'll take a 10-second pause here for your questions. Okay. Moving on, designing the customer journey. Now, this would be a cakewalk. This will be very functional, guys. Don't worry. This will be purely because I know the previous slide was a bit of technical and there was a lot of explanation required, because now I wanted to spend that amount of time so that here we cruise through, right? You understand what is happening here, because if I had not done that, you would have more questions coming up, tangling around in your head as to, hey, why is there a wait period? Why is there a set? What is a goal? All of this will come into play. Now, here is designing the customer journey, right? I said abandon cart. This is, see, now if you go through this particular flow, you will be able to give a narration for me. It's as simple as that. What is it? Pavan has an abandoned cart, let's assume, right? This is how you're going to construct. Let's assume Pavan's has an abandoned cart problem, right? So this is how your journey will look like for that customer. What is your entry point? Any customer who has a certain products in his cart, that is your primary filter criteria. So you take those records, and let's say you wait for 1 hour. Why? Just in case. There's no logical value as to why there is a 1 hour delay here, right? But for the sake of it, because we could wait, it could be 3 days, it could be 7 days, and whatnot. And then you decide, was there prior engagement done on this or not? Meaning, have you previously sent an email to Pavan or not? Right? If so, when was it sent? Was it sent yesterday? because you don't want to keep nudging the customer, right? Hey, there is an abandoned cart, there is an abandoned cart, there is an abandoned cart. How many times? You should give sufficient time for the customer to breathe as well. So let's assume if you have not sent an email for last 14 days, you can send it now. So you send a personalized email and then you wait for 24 hours, right? There is no response. Now, the great thing, which is you have his email address and as well as his phone number, right? So what happens? You send an email reminder. After 24 hours, you send an SMS reminder, abandoned cart reminder. And now let's hope. See, hope is a very difficult word, right? It's like, let's hope if he makes a purchase, or let's make it happen so that the purchase is made. They're two different approaches. So here, let's assume the Pavan makes those three items that in his cart, he makes a purchase, goal is achieved. Now you will ask me this question: does it happen every time, Pavan? Because this is a very success story. The answer lies within yourself. How many times have you cleared your cart or made the purchases of your cart just because there was an abandoned cart email, right? Because the customer will make a purchase only when he is ready to make a purchase. Okay, then you will ask me, what is the point of discussing all of this? But you are making the customer think about his cart that he has forgotten in his day-to-day life. That is the whole point here, right? How much are you able to, you're able to just give him a small push saying that, hey, you wanted this, but for some reason you didn't purchase it, right? And eventually that becomes our goal because he made a purchase from our category, from our products. That is the whole point. Not every abandoned cart email will come up as a success story for us, but there is a hope that if you give the right nudge at the right time, you will still be able to make that happen. Okay? That's the situation for us. Now, journey types covered. You can see I spoke about welcome series. I spoke about abandoned cart. I spoke about, let's talk about re-engagement. All right. What if the customer is silent for like say 90 days? No action at all. He didn't come to our website. He didn't do anything. There was nothing happening. We'll just say after it's been 3 months, we'll send out a re-engagement email. Why not? Hey Pavan, it's been a long time since we spoke. How have you been? What's what's up with you? Or something like that. Very, very casual, very, you know, product related. And you could just send, hey, you know what? It's been 90 days. Why don't you browse our catalog? Here are some new products. Go check it out. Right? That could be a re-engagement journey. Churn prevention. Predict and proactively prevent customers from leaving. Now, churn prevention is very, very important, guys, here. You don't want your customers to leave your system at any cost. The moment you notice or you say that you want to unsubscribe something or you want to leave, they will come heel over head saying that, no, what can we do better? Here is 30% offer. Here is 40% offer. Please don't leave the system. We need you. Everything, right? We'll make things happen for you. So that kind of relation, that is called churn prevention, right? You're churning the set. So this is how you want to design your journey. I'm giving you certain examples, right? An abandoned cart, a re-engagement, a welcome series, a churn prevention, all of these could be an example of your journey set. Okay, now this becomes a little technical, but I'll try and keep it as simple as possible for you to understand those two sections, right? Now you see, we've spoken about a journey. Now we have to talk about email and automation. Now let's shift our focus to Email Studio, building it. See, now I've used the word build because eventually you are building it, right? There's nothing as such. So how are you going to build it? There are content builder blocks. There are HTML blocks. As simple as that. There's no fancy science here, right? There is HTML block. There is a note, and you say whatever the look and feel of the email should be. You code it in that HTML builder blocks, right? Now I am expecting a question here. You might come up and say that, Pavan, do we want to write an HTML code or a CSS code and then get the email ready? There are two things to it. One, if you are proficient enough, if you're a developer of such caliber and skills who say that, hey, you know what, I'm good at SQL, I'm good at AMScript, I'm good at HTML, CSS, I'm good at JavaScript, and I'm good at everything. Well, go ahead and do it. But most often than not, these businesses have their own content team who understands the design language of a company, of a business, right? You see, not two emails of two different companies look the same because they have their own font size, they have their own colors, they have their own backgrounds, they have their own nuances in the email, right? That make them their own, right? So that is something, they have their own grammar, if you will, right? Now, when you have all of these, immediately you relate this email to that particular business. So now every business has their own content team, a front end team, a web development team, a HTML expert. Now what happens is they give you that HTML code, right? The body of the email, the structure, the skeleton of the email is given to you. Now what do you do is, as a developer, as a Salesforce Marketing Cloud developer, is you should be skilled enough to identify and understand what that code is doing, and you should also have the skill set to make sure that you're able to go and edit a certain aspects of that HTML without compromising the quality of the HTML. Such as, how are you going to add your personalization? Because they don't know how to add personalizations, right? They are just content team. They are giving you the beautiful emails. You take them in. You should know, okay, this particular tag, this is an HTML CSS tag. And if I go and put in my dynamic first name variable, if you see point number 2 on email studio, I'm saying dynamic content via AMScript, percentage first name and close percentages. This is how you give the variable name. Now what is first name, which is in camel case? It means this is a variable in your table, in your data extension, and you're calling that here. That is how it prints in the final output, hi Pavan, right? That is there. Next, A/B test subject lines. Now we always want to test subject lines, what works best for us. There is always testing. So if you say, if you have 50,000 people to send email to, make sure you send, say, 5,000, 10% of it, right? An A/B testing, you test the waters, right? Which email performs well, where there is a more open rate, where the people are responding better, all of that sections, right? So you want to test that. Always and always we should do A/B testing. A is an email subject line which has an emoji. A B is a very plain text. Let's see what happens. And you should have, now there is a concept of pre-header. Pre-header is like a sister to a subject line, which gives you an idea of what the email is doing, right? Then comes mobile first responsive HTML templates. Like, you might have seen these. Uh, when you open an email on your mobile, it shrinks, the whole set fits into your device, is it not? And they open the same email on your iPad or your another gadget, it opens in that format, in that screen set ratio. How is that happening? And now then there is something called as sender authentication, right? Sender authentication is that there should be a legitimate, tangible authorization process from the business so that these emails are legal, one, and they sound and say legitimate, and they are not spams. We live in a world where exactly looking emails can be sent out for a different purposes altogether, right? Such is that whole process. Now we have various sender authentication processes. I would advise and suggest rather that you take a look at these keywords, what DK, IM, SPF, and DMARC setups are. Just as a generic reading, what is sender authentication? Why does, you think about yourself, right? You raise this question to yourself. Why does a certain email go into your inbox and certain emails go into your spam? How is my inbox knowing it? What makes an email go to in inbox? And also, guys, remember, everything that we are talking about right now today is for one simple goal, is to make that email fall in the inbox. You have about 85% of chance of opening that email only and only if it falls on the inbox. The moment it falls in any other place, if it is in promotions, if it is in spam or junk, the customer has already lost faith in that email, because hey, it is just a promotional email, hey, it is a spam email, even before him opening it, right? Even before he reading it. In fact, he wouldn't even open if it goes into the spam email, because it is already labeled as spam. Now we need to make sure that your IP reputation is so strong, your sender authentication is so good, that it reaches the inbox saying that, hey, it is a legitimate email from this company who wants to talk about this value, this topic. Can we do it? So that is why Email Studio building this in all these parameters are very important. Now, let's talk about Automation Studio. We have spoken about Automation Studio and scheduling it. Now, if you notice, I was talking about SFTPs, right? How the data will flow down. That is exactly what we're going to do. I was talking about a nightly refresh of the data, right? Every night it sets up. So we can schedule it, right? So every day, 1 a.m., the data will be refreshed and the data imports will happen via SFTP. Very good. Fair enough. Now, we also spoke about the fact that SQL query activity to segment by behavior. I said, what was the behavior? I was saying that people who have products more than 3 in abandoned cart, that was a segment, right? Now you could add another layer, add another filter, exclude those customers who have recently purchased, right? You, somebody who purchased 2 days back, again you are sending, hey, make a purchase again. He'll go crazy, right? He doesn't want to hear that, because hey, you know what, I just made a purchase from you. Now, why are you again pushing me or sending me these marketing emails after 48 hours? You don't want to do that as well, you know. And then send email activity, trigger on cart event. What is a cart event? If the items are, an event could be anything, right? I mean, you know, the if items are there in your cart for more than 5 days, you can, that becomes an event. You send an email, hey, here is a reminder for your cart, right? Now this next point is very important, wait activity. Respecting customers time zones are very, very important. You know, I started the whole conversation saying that right communication to the right customer at the right time. There is no point if you figure out the first two and the third set is left alone. It just doesn't work. You need to respect their time. You need to make sure that what is their optimum time to send an email, right? Now with these, you know, going forward, there could be multiple other things there. With AI, we could even predict, oh, Pavan opens his email early morning, say between 7 to 9. I can send email then. Whereas David opens his email in the afternoon between 2 to 4. I could send him the same email at that time, right? We are getting into that generative AI sets where Salesforce, or in fact multiple platforms, we are working on those sets, right? We have send time optimization. There is a concept in itself, right? Einstein's send time optimization. We know when does the person more likely to open the email. So those things are there. Then data refresh for real-time data sync. We were talking about APIs, right? How the real data will come in. Okay, I have a pro tip here for you guys, which is always test with seed list before go live. Use SFMC validation tools and Litmus for cross-checking. Yes, of course, right? You should not send anything into production to real customers without you doing a thorough check. of all what you have done, because the fundamental definition says that communication to right customer. If you do wrong, it hampers the business's reputation, right? Okay, I think this will be the last set, and this will be the most easiest set, which is the optimization and real project insights. Now, with considering all of these implementations, right, whatever we just spoke of, the good practices, the likely journey, everything. Earlier, we noticed that from that particular retail company, which we were the use case example that we are taking here, earlier it was 11.2%. It increased to 28.7%. Abandoned cart was 68%, and now it is down to 31%. Conversion rate. What is a conversion? Conversion of making a purchase of a product was 1.4%. Now it is 4.8. Repeat purchases, because you are personalization, you worked on personalization, you worked on timing, you worked on nurturing the customer's journey, enhancing it. All of that happened. You see, there is a 20 from 22% to 61%. Right now, you see there is an optimization and strategies applied. We were talking about A/B testing, right? That drastically, because the moment you do something at an A/B testing level, you know which one would more likely to work, and you use that email for the remaining 45,000 people, and you will definitely see an improvement. And I was talking about Einstein send optimization, right? When to send a subscriber's best time, journey analytics, what kind of things are happening, what are the pitfalls, how often should you send an email, right? I just said that you cannot keep sending an email and trying to push to make a purchase. It just he'll get tired of your emails. We don't want that as well. Okay, with all this, I know I have to open up for Q&A, but what are the key takeaways? What can you, from this talk, of whatever you've heard me, could do it? You could understand, you should be able to understand, to have a what is a clear business use case, right? What could be the strategy, how to use the Salesforce platform, what is data, what is data architecture, right? How important is it for you to have a clean connected data so that the journey doesn't fail, right? How to have your contact builder set properly, keep customers journeys simple at first, right? One trigger, one goal, very very, and then maybe we can add complexities. Once you get a hang of it, you could play around with it, right? You could come up with ideas of your own. Personalization is the number one lever, right? You crack personalization, you are touching the heart of that customer, right? That is most important. And then you try and make sure that you're calculating or you're capturing all the right matrices from your campaigns. Is it happening? Is my open rates working fine? Is my click to conversion ratios are good? Is there conversions happening? Is my A/B testing giving me right set of values, right? So I have about 10 to 12 minutes, I presume, for your questions. Please feel free to ask questions, guys. Was it helpful? Were you able to visualize? Most important thing that I want to from this 90 minutes of your time is that you're able to visualize what I'm talking about. You can see those journeys. You can see that customer moving from point A to point B. You can see a email being built, right? Because the moment you visualize it, I feel it is very easy for you to put it on the system. Learning the platform or a tool, I don't think is a challenge. It should be a challenge. It is for you to strategize and understand what CRM really means, right? So I'll take a pause here. I'll stop it. You've been a fantastic audience. Please ask any questions if you have.
Hi guys, all your mics been enabled, so go ahead and ask your question, please, one at a time.
Yeah, hi Bhavan. I'm audible.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, just wanted to check on the last slide if we can go back. The last to last slide. Yeah, before that. Yeah, this one.
Uh,
Just wanted to ask a few questions. After how much time you see this results? For how much time this campaign ran via SFMC? Was
mhm.
it 1 month, 2 month, 3 months? After that, you got these results.
Perfect. Yeah. So this was a 10-week project, a 10-week campaign, right? So we put ourselves with when we were facing the challenge, right, to address all of these issues, and cart percentage should come down by 50%, email should open rate should increase. So it was a 10-week process. Yeah.
Okay, and next question is within this time period, how much was organic, how much was paid, or there was no change at all?
In terms, okay, no, it was definitely paid, because we when the project was onboarded, the specific request from the business was that they wanted to address these challenges immediately, and
Okay,
we had to have get in the best of the developers to look into this problem statements individually. And we had teams, like say 2 or 3 people was working on a open rate set, a person was working on abandoned cart, etc., etc. It was initially discussed that the pricing was the billing was happening.
okay. Was there any paid marketing also apart from email marketing? Was there any paid marketing like Google, Facebook, or any other channel involved?
No, in this particular instance, no, there was no paid marketing, there was no social media presence, because it was a we just sent out banners, we just it was only on channels of email and SMS. It was not paid marketing.
Okay, and what was the vertical of this client?
They were retail, they were into apparels.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, that would be all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. Guys, feel free to ask any questions, anything that is in your learning curve. We still have good amount of time, make use of it. Or even so, maybe later, let me put this out as well, right? If you have any questions, please, about this or any other concepts of your learning, reach out to Greater Insights, right? And they will redirect the question to the right person, probably to me in this context, and I'm happy to address that for you. But yes, from this session, something you are not able to visualize, a concept, a journey, why are we doing this? Should we really do this? Any other questions? Or let me put it this way, I mean, you want to share anything that you're currently reading and you want to share it with the forum, because I want it to be, because I'm also learning with you, it only helps that that way.
Hey, hi everybody. So if there are no other question, I will wait for 2 more minutes, then we can end this session.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
Pavan, do we have any upcoming sessions like this, or this is only the one session for today?
Uh, Manish, you want to take that question? Because
No, actually, I don't know how I understood, but not about, I mean, not sure about others. As it was like real project walkthrough and all, I was expecting at least you will be showing in marketing cloud site the journeys and how to build it. It's more of theoretical, functional, and technical overview. I mean, I was just curious to know if this is only the one session we have or any upcoming sessions.
yeah, we could definitely plan a session on a live set, right? In a sense, walking through of the platform itself, and perhaps we could create one on the go. But we kept it deliberately at a theoretical level so that you understand the concepts first before we jump into the tool. So yeah, I think Manish from Greater Insights will keep you posted about it. Yeah,
Sure, sure. Thank you.
yeah, sure. Well then, thank you. We are on clock. It was pleasure to have
Thank
this
you so much,
session.
Pavan.
Thank you. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.